Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's old Pappy. Thanks for tuning in. Today, I'm going to just kind of admit something. I used to be a big fan of the Griffin years and years and years ago. I started playing in 2014, and very soon after the Griffin was introduced, it became one of my favorite bots of all time. And, I kind of put it off to the shelf. I kind of set it aside because other robots, Dash bots came in, the Lancelot, all that armored stuff came in, and I kind of put the poor old Griffin off to the side. And then eventually the Raven came, right? The Raven, this new super powered Griffin-like robot with the same weapons configurations, 2 medium and 2 light on the top. It had not just 1 jump, it had 2 jumps. It was just, double powerful, if you will, compared to the Griffin of old. But the problem was the current meta, basically, in my mind anyway, I convinced myself it was obsolete. Why was it obsolete? Well, take a look at the battlefield any time you go on now in Champions League, right? Nothing but robots with super damage resistance and leeching abilities, and robots now that can blink out of existence, go into another dimension like the Phantom and jump back into your own dimension. It's just kind of crazy. Now, taking a step back, everybody knows Lottie-Rose, right? Lottie-Rose Robinson, she's a British girl a teenager who basically, for the longest time, played nothing but Griffins. That's it, nothing but Griffins. And then eventually they brought out the Raven, and so she switched up her entire hangar, and has a lot of respect among all the players out there, I think, because she does not chase the meta. She has now switched over to Ravens, and to the point now that Pixonic has, even though they don't call it Lottie-Rose, they've actually created a pilot in her image in honor of her dedication to playing a hangar full of 5 Ravens. And so for the longest time, I kind of just, we were clanmates at one point, and she's a great gal, but I never seriously considered playing the Raven. And then I started thinking to myself, I just won this new skin. This new skin that's really beautiful looking, right? It's got this gorgeous pattern and this crazy, almost demonic thing on the top, this blue skin that gives me a little bit of extra health as well. I think it's going to be 10% health when the update comes out. And I started thinking to myself, man, why can't I put this in my hangar and make it work? So I started trying some different weapon configurations. I tried Scourges, I tried Terrans and Magnums, I tried Orcans, I tried the ice weapons, and I actually think I have found a combo that actually allows you to survive, deal heavy damage, and actually impact especially the leeches that are out there, and that is the Acid Raven. And so what you're seeing here, I'm going to show you in this video a little bit of gameplay about how you can basically stay alive in this build and do as much damage as you can. And so in this map, here I am, I'm on the ice map here, fighting around center. Now, one of the big challenges, of course, with this configuration, I have Stings at the top and I have Wasps on the side. The Stings shoot every 3 seconds, and they do acid damage in addition to the regular damage. And then the Wasps, they have, I can't remember if it's like 5 or 6 bolts or little sting, whatever you want to call them, little bullets, and they kind of shoot like dun 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 dun, and then you have to reload. Whereas the Sting is all like brr, 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 just like a series of projectiles really quick. And so what I'm trying to do, and the only way to survive in this build, is exactly what I'm doing here. Is use cover to your advantage. Take advantage of the fact that these things, especially the Stings, can fire all of their projectiles in just a few seconds. And the best part is I just got a kill. One of the best parts is it has a 600-meter range. So a lot of the other weapons that you're going to run into out there, a lot of the shotguns, for instance, the Coronas and all the lockdown shotguns, the Halos, they're all 500-meter range. And so it keeps you out of range of a lot of the leeches and a lot of the Ares, say, or something like that, that are out there that have these lockdown shotguns. So that's advantage number 1. Number 2, when a leech, if you go in Champions these days, leech is everywhere. Every single person is running at least 1, and some clans, they're running 4 and 5 leeches per hangar, right? It's just insane. And so one of the things that leech does, though, is that when it leeches onto you, it redirects all of its damage, right? I mean, I think it's something like it gets 90% damage resistance, and it redirects 35% of the damage it's taking onto the person that it is leeched onto, right? It's not good if it's leeched onto you or to one of your clanmates. But one of the things, I just lost a weapon there. One of the things, though, that you will find is that when you use these acid weapons, even though the initial damage you're causing is leached to your teammate, the acid actually circumvents the resistance. And so it does full acid damage to the leech when you're shooting it. And so if you're going to go out leech hunting, this is a perfect setup for this. Now, the only catch is, of course, you see on the beacon bar there, is that with this setup, you can't really hold beacons, right? And so there you go. I made it, almost half the game, probably 2/3 of the game there. Let's just see how my damage was. Look at that. I just skipped to the end. 1.8 million damage. 1.8 million damage with this setup. Crazy, eh? We lost that game. Now, another nice thing about the Raven here is, if you just saw what I just did there, this double jump, it is a great beacon capper. I think that's one of the problems with the Griffin back in the old days, is that it was a bit slow and it only had that one jump. And so after you did that first jump, you were kind of stuck, right? Like you weren't really able to get someplace fast. But this guy, and I don't have a very high level pilot on this robot right now. I forgot to mention, one of the other cool things about Raven is that when you jump in the air for a brief period of time, you actually do extra damage. And so one of the things I'm trying to do in this game is I'm trying to time my attack and time my jump so that I am maximizing the damage. And look at this guy, little bastard's coming on me here. And he's got himself some damage resistance, he's healing. And so I'm going to try one of the techniques that I learned back when I used to do Rogatkas all the time. I'm going to try to jump over top of him and see if I can't kill him. Turn around in midair, keep firing, get a little help from my buddy, bang. And there you go. So that's a great little technique if you want to try to sort of do this this almost aerial ninja combat style. Now, one of the other things you're going to find with the Raven, though, is that without any damage resistance, without any stealth, you are kind of a sitting duck out there if you're just going to lollygag around the battlefield. And so one of the things I hate to say I'm finding with this build is that, and with any time you use the Raven for any type of weapon setup, is that you really need to lean heavy on your phase shift. I was going to say quantum radar, but that's not it. Your phase shift. And now myself personally, I hate using modules, especially phase shift. I find a lot of people use phase shift basically to cover up their lack of skill, right? They just, like a guy in a leech will just run up to you, leech onto you, shoot you, and just as his leech is stopping, he just goes phase shift, counts down, and then leeches on again, and he kills you. But in this case, the phase shift is actually crucial as part of the gameplay. It's not a crutch that just gets you out of jail free. It's basically one of the only ways you can kind of get in and make a real good solid attack on people and then get away to safety. Now, that said, there is a new pilot. I call it the Lottie-Rose pilot, even though they have some other name. I don't know. Pixo decided to call it by somebody else, but it really is Lottie-Rose. It's a blonde woman, and Lottie's a blonde teenage girl from Britain. Anyway, one of the cool things about it is that when you get this pilot and you upgrade it, you get 10%. Is it 10% damage resistance, or is it 10? Defense points, or whatever the math is. I don't know the terminology, but long story short, it gives you some resistance when you actually use your jump ability. Why is that important? Well, the one thing this thing has always been lacking is that when you jump into battle, you don't have any resistance, and a lot of times the people you are attacking have some sort of damage resistance, or a shield, or an Aegis shield, or they can teleport, or whatever. And so this kind of takes just a little bit, kind of takes the edge off when you attack. So if you are going to run it as a brawler, then that's what I would suggest you do, is get that pilot if you can, max it. How did I do? 1.4 million, not bad, came first with that one robot. So anyway, what are my final thoughts? Well, I really, 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 really wish that this robot actually had a built-in resistance when it attacks and jumps. So yes, do extra damage, but if it also had like 25 or 30 defense points when it attacks, then it could truly be an up-close brawler, right? But until then, you're really going to be, unless you're Lottie-Rose and you've just perfected the way the Raven can be played, you're kind of taking your life into your hands if you're actually going to try to play it as a brawler. So I think I've actually found a combo that works well. These these acid weapons, the Viper's of course the heavy one, but the medium and the light versions of these acid weapons, it allows you to do some really good damage. The only problem is you can cap some beacons early in the game. You can't really hold them very well, so you're going to have to rely on your teammates a little bit there, unless you're going to do some sort of combo, like maybe run a mixture. Maybe you can have the acid weapons on the top and have different weapons on the side, or vice versa. Anyway, I love it. I've had a hoot playing it. I love the skin. I think it's basically the best paint job in the game. Will it be in my hangar all the time when I'm playing clan battles? Maybe not, but when I'm doing solo, I'm just out there having fun. So I'm going to play it. Hope you guys get a chance to try it out as well. A nod to Lottie-Rose. She's the mistress of this bot, the master of this bot, if you will. I'm just a novice. I'm just trying to show you guys what works and what doesn't. So if you like what you saw, please hit subscribe, hit the like button. Also, drop me a comment. Let me know what kind of setups you think works for the Raven. And until next time, I'll see you on the battlefield.